Hi, it's Mrs. Martello. We're going to look at a word problem from section 5.7, and I'm getting this from the exercises. I am on page 279 in case if you want to look. We're going to take a look at number 29. So in this word problem, remember that we're doing a system of inequalities. So when it's a system of inequalities, remember that means that I need to write two. I need two inequalities. So be careful when you're writing your inequalities. You want to make sure that you're writing two separate inequalities. Okay, and then you're going to graph them together. So let's take a look at number 29. It says you can spend at most $21 on fruit. Blueberries cost $4 per pound and strawberries cost $3 per pound. You need at least 3 pounds of fruit to make the muffins. Okay, so we need to write and graph this system, and then we'll continue along with this question here. So let's think about our two inequalities that we're going to write. The first inequality I'm going to write is all about the money. How much money can I spend? Well, I know that blueberries cost $4 per pound, so maybe I'll say 4B, B for blueberries. Let's say B is for the pounds of blueberries. And we also want to buy strawberries are $3 per pound, so plus 3S, we'll say that S is the pounds of strawberries. And we know that we have at most $21. At most 21 means that we can spend less than or equal to $21. Less than or equal to 21. All right, so that's our first inequality, all about how much money I can spend. The second inequality is about how many pounds of fruit that I need to buy to make the muffins. I need at least 3 pounds of fruit. So our second inequality is all about the pounds. So if I need to get to 3 pounds of fruit, well, I need some pounds of blueberries and some pounds of strawberries together to give me this total of 3. I said that my blueberries is B plus my strawberries is S, has to be at least is greater than or equal to 3 pounds. So here's our system, just like this. Okay, with this system of inequalities, we want to now graph the system, and we can choose however we want to graph it. We can solve it and make it into slope-intercept form, or we can do the X and Y intercepts, and that's totally up to you. This time, why don't I do the X and Y intercepts, because I keep talking about it and I just want to show you what it's like to do the X and Y intercepts. So I'm just going to write myself a note here. I could make them into slope-intercept form. I could, but this time I want to show you the intercepts. This time we're going to find the X and Y intercepts. And remember to do that, this is when you plug in X equals 0 and Y equals 0. So let's do that just to make sure that we remember. And just to remind you, this is from section 3.4. In case if you want to go back and look. Okay, so we're going to do our first inequality over here. 4B plus 3S is less than or equal to 21. Let's find the X-intercept. So let's say that the X is like the B and the Y is like the S. Okay, so when we find the X-intercept, remember we're going to plug in Y equals 0. Or in other words, S equals 0 for this one. Okay, let's plug it in. We're going to have 4B plus 3 times 0 is less than or equal to 21. So this cancels out. We're going to divide both sides by 4. And we get B is less than or equal to, we can use our calculator if I want to here. 21 divided by 4 is 5.25. So remember I found an ordered pair now. My X is 0. Oh, no, sorry, my X is 5.25. Remember, the B is like the X. So my X is 5.25, and my Y is 0. Okay, let's find the y-intercept now, and this is when we're going to plug in x equals 0, or in other words, our b is equal to 0. Let's plug it in. So we're going to have 4 times 0 plus 3s is less than or equal to 21. These cancel out. Divide both sides by 3. I get s is less than or equal to 7. Let's write this as an ordered pair. My x is like the b, which I said was 0, and my s is like the y, which is 7. Okay, so this line is ready to be graphed. Why don't we graph this while it is ready to go here? And this time I'm just going to graph it on a piece of lined paper. I'm only going to do the first quadrant. Okay, I can't have negative pounds of fruit. That wouldn't make any sense. So be careful. Remember that the x is again like our b, so this is b, and our y is like our s. So remember our b, this is pounds of blueberries, and our s is pounds of strawberries. Okay, let's figure out what are we going to go by. I think we're going to go by ones. I think that's the best way to go here. So this is 0. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Going up here, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's graph it. So we're going to start with our x-intercept at 5.25. So we're just going to estimate it's about a quarter of the way past 5. And then our y-intercept is up here at 7. And we're going to connect these 2 points here. Now be careful, think about what kind of line. It is less than or equal to, so this is going to be a solid line. And because it's less than, we're going to shade everything below this line here. Just like that. All right, let's keep going. We're going to take a look at our second inequality. Our second inequality, let's write it down over here. B plus s is greater than or equal to 3. And again, we can do the x and y intercepts, or you can solve for y, and that's totally up to you. It does not matter how you graph it. If you want to solve this one for y, you could. Remember, our y is like the s. So why don't we do that? Let's solve this one for y. Now I'm just trying to show you that you can switch it up. You don't always have to solve for y. You can do the x and y intercepts, but this is a little time consuming to do all this work. So why don't we solve for s in this one? So we're going to subtract b from both sides. We get s is greater than or equal to negative b plus 3. Now don't forget, this is just like y equals mx plus b. S is our y, is greater than or equal to negative, b is like x plus 3. All right, so we're ready to graph our inequality here. Let's go back to our graph paper. I'm going to start at my y-intercept, which is 3. And my slope is negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1. Keep going down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. There's our line. Look at your inequality symbol. This is greater than or equal to. This is going to be a solid line. And greater than means we're going to shade above this line. So all of this, all above it. Okay, look at where the overlap is happening. Let's find our solutions. So it's all in this middle section here. In this middle section between these two lines, this is where all of our solutions are going to be. Okay, let's finish up this question. That was all for part A. Let's go on to part B. Part B, up here in the question, in case we can't see it, let me move down a little bit. It says, identify and interpret a solution of the system. So we're going to find one solution of the system here. Let's go to our graph, and we can look at the graph to find a solution. It can be any point in this overlapping shaded region in here. So let's pick a point that's definitely in this overlap. How about the point 3, 1? This point right here, 3, 1, is definitely in this overlapping shaded region. So let's say that that is one possible solution, and let's talk about what that stands for. So this is the point 3, 1. So let's write this down. Part B, 3, 1 is a solution. Okay, let's talk about what this stands for. So 3, 1, think about your graph. Remember that 3 represents the pounds of blueberries and 1 represents the pounds of strawberries. So let's write a sentence. We can buy 3 pounds of blueberries and 1 pound of strawberries. Okay, and that's our answer for part B. Okay, we got one more part here. Let's use part C. It says, use the graph to determine whether you can buy 4 pounds of blueberries and 1 pound of strawberries. So let's see. Let's look at the point 4, 1. 4, 1, that would be a point right about here. That does look like it is in that overlapping shaded region. So yeah, 4, 1 would be a solution. So our answer here is yes, because the point 4, 1 is in that overlapping shaded region, or the overlapping half planes, or where the half planes overlap, however you want to say it.